We'll hear from Kansas school officials about how they plan to handle virtual learning this school year.
State and federal officials continue to implement policies to try to slow the spread of COVID, urging more people to get vaccinated. I'm Skylar Henry in Washington as the cases nationwide skyrocket.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities investigate after an officer shot a suspect in Webb City. This is KOAM News at 5. Happened after 9 o'clock last night. According to police, officers responded to the 800 block of East Fountain to calls of trespassing and illegal dumping. When they arrived, they found several people in a truck with a trailer. Officers say they got into a fight with the suspects when one grabbed an officer's taser, began tasing the officer, and tried to grab the officer's gun. The officer shot that suspect, who was later taken to the hospital. One of the officers was also taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The other was treated at the scene. 5 people were arrested. Checking in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
Good evening, Dal. We had a pretty calm day overall this go around, but we definitely noticed an uptick in temperatures for today. Even with a bit of haze still trying to hold on, we are seeing a little bit more blue sky, and despite partly sunny skies up top, I'm not seeing a drop of rain anywhere on the radar network. So it was a good indication that after a pretty dry day, this is how we're going to stay as we go through the rest of the evening ahead of us. As far as temperatures go, yeah, definitely on the upswing, unfortunately. Upper 80s to a few lower 90s, especially out in our western counties, but you factor in some of the humidity trying to return as well. It feels like the lower to mid 90s across much of the region, maybe a few upper 90s out west, but everyone's going to trend mild overnight. We'll fall through the 80s down to 74 by midnight. I'm thinking down to 71 down, but the heat and humidity is going to crank into gear as we go through the rest of the weekend. We'll time out some rain chances too here in a bit.
See you then. School districts in Kansas will not be permitted to offer full-time remote learning. A new law states that no student can attend remote learning for more than 40 hours. So doing remote learning for the entire year will not be allowed. But some districts are going to offer virtual learning classes. Columbus is partnering with the Greenbush Education Center to offer the Greenbush Virtual Academy to students. We spoke to the superintendent, who explains the difference between the program and remote learning like we saw last year.
For those students who we feel it's in their best interest working with the parents, they will enroll through the Greenbush program. They'll still be enrolled as a student in our school district, but they will be provide services, educational services through Greenbush.
Columbus, Uniontown, and Parsons are a few districts working with Greenbush. Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more about the law and how the partnership will work. A relative of a Neosho, Missouri educator who died of COVID-19 this week addressed the media during today's Freeman Hospital briefing. Melissa Osborne, who was in her 40s, was a school teacher and then a counselor at Goodman Elementary. In a message to families, the school district noted her passion and the lighthearted fun she brought to her work with young kids. An uncle says he had been hesitant to get a COVID vaccine until he saw firsthand how devastating the disease can be.
Reluctant on getting the shot. I just, some people feel that like they're invincible, I guess you would say. I was just reluctant on getting it until, this hit close to home, and this is what changed my mind.
We're going to hear more about Melissa Osborne from her uncle and others who knew her tonight at 10. The Delta variant is driving a new surge in COVID cases, with experts warning the numbers could go higher. That's triggering new mask mandates, including for some school students, despite half the U.S. population now being fully vaccinated against the virus. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
President Biden touted a strong July jobs report before turning his attention to COVID-19.
It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I know I've said that constantly, and others have as well. And it's taking a needless toll on our country.
The unvaccinated and the Delta variant are driving a surge in the U.S. COVID cases, particularly in Louisiana, a state seeing record high hospitalizations.
It's one thing to be out of breath, but it's another thing to just be out of breath watching TV.
Experts expect the numbers will only rise in the face of large events such as the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally now underway in South Dakota.
I keep telling people, don't think you can run out the game clock. It's not going to happen. Ultimately, this virus will keep circulating until it finds you.
With students headed back to the classroom, the Biden administration is kicking off a week of action Saturday, encouraging youth vaccinations in children ages 12 and up.
We want to protect our students and staff and make sure that they can go back to school and enjoy in-person learning.
On Friday, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy announced a new mask mandate for all students, teachers, and staff members after an uptick of COVID cases in his state.
The health and safety of our kids is among, if not my most sacred responsibility.
But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is now offering vouchers to let students transfer out of schools with mask mandates and threatening to deny state funding to school districts requiring masks.
I'm the governor who protects parents in their ability to make the right choices for their kids' education.
In Johnson County, Kansas, protesters packed a community meeting discussing masks in schools.
We went along to get along once.
But county commissioners voted 5-2 to require masks for kids 12 and under. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
A new study from the CDC finds COVID-19 vaccines offer higher protection from the virus than previous infection. Yesterday, the city of Joplin announced they paid $320,000 from their cyber insurance policy in a ransom hack. Well, today, the Better Business Bureau gave out some tips on how you can protect yourself from these kinds of cybersecurity threats. Officials with the BBB say if you download some ransomware, shut down your computer and take it to a trusted expert.
And you downloaded the ransomware, you need to immediately get off of the internet. You need to pull out the plugs from your machine, turn it off. You need to take it to your IT director, or you need to go to a BBB accredited business that does IT.
If you'd like to report a scam or ransomware hack, you can do so at bbb.org. Still ahead, more improvements in the job market.
Unemployment is dropping faster than expected. I'm Michael George with what this means for the U.S. economy and how the Delta variant could impact hiring.
And next in Health Watch, how a diet rich in fruits and vegetables could help your mood and reduce cognitive decline. Topping today's Health Watch, a new CDC report shows an extremely low number of adverse effects associated with the COVID-19 vaccine in adolescents. The agency says out of the nearly 9 million children ages 12 to 17 who received the shots by mid-July, there were fewer than 10,000 reports of adverse health effects. Of those bad reactions, 90% were for non-serious conditions such as dizziness and headaches. The small percentage of severe adverse events included some instances of heart muscle inflammation called myocarditis. Better brain health may start on your plate. It's peak season for summer fruits and vegetables that are nutrient rich and can help with stress reduction, mood, and cognitive decline. Reporter Elise Preston explains.
Fresh fruits and vegetables are plentiful in the summer months.
Cherries, hopefully, peaches, plums.
I bought some tomatoes, heirloom tomatoes.
And it turns out that bounty is good for your brain.
If we don't have a healthy working brain, the rest is a little irrelevant.
Brain health expert Dr. Tara Linsell says summer favorites like berries can help stabilize blood sugar and reduce inflammation.
There's some new emerging research that ties things like sugars and inflammatory foods to the inflammation of your brain. Those people were found to have more levels of major depressive disorder.
Vitamin-rich leafy greens like kale, spinach, and arugula can help slow cognitive decline.
Hoping that it keeps me more alert and vibrant.
Dr. Sell suggests eating a veggie rainbow, including bell peppers, cauliflower, broccoli, eggplant, carrots, and tomatoes.
The more colors you add into your dishes, the prettier they look and the better in taste and the better you're going to look as well.
Another bonus, melons like cantaloupe, honeydew, and watermelon have high water content, keeping you hydrated on hot summer days.
They're also rich with vitamin C, and vitamin C is so important to help you fight stress. And right now, that's exactly what we need.
Sell says nutrition can also be a frontline defense for mental well-being, especially during the pandemic.
I think we need to broaden what we can do individually to help take control and improve our mental health. And a great place to start is how you're fueling your brain.
And that could bring some peace of mind. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
You get those fruits and veggies back to your kitchen. Dr. Sell says to keep it simple and fun and try focusing on one new item each week. More than 1/3 of infant caregivers reported serving at least one non-recommended milk type to their babies in the last month. Researchers in St. Louis also found the majority of toddler caregivers did not follow expert recommendations to provide only cow's milk to their children. That is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, Dollar General recalls some styles of folding chairs linked to amputation risks.
Plus, the summer heat and humidity ready to return, and we'll definitely feel for the week ahead. We'll track the numbers next. We certainly saw the return of some more summer warmth, if not summer heat, for some of you throughout the course of the day. So that kind of put an end to our string of nice days where we saw temperatures in the 80s for highs. Those are just rare to come by in the early part of August. But after seeing highs in the lower to middle 80s yesterday, we dropped back into the mid 60s this morning and at least back near 90 degrees at Joplin Regional this afternoon. So the heat and humidity is something going to be with us for Saturday. Highs staying in the lower 90s, but we do stay quiet under partly to mostly sunny skies for Saturday. I do want to watch some thunderstorm chances on Sunday with a wave passing by. I'm thinking the morning will be our best shot for rain on Sunday. We'll track that in a moment or two. But mainly for much of next week, even with a slight rain chance or two, it's going to be pretty hot and humid, and that's what we should expect since it is August and it is still the summer season after all. At least we're looking okay from 7th and Rangeline. Yesterday at this time, we were seeing quite a bit of haze obscuring our partly sunny skies, but a little more blue this time around. But that partly sunny sky and the south breeze definitely kicking temperatures up. 88 in Joplin, feels like 91 with the dew point sitting in the upper 60s. Look at these temperatures across the board, a bit warmer compared to yesterday. Upper 80s for much of southwestern Missouri and upper 80s to lower 90s across northeast Oklahoma and southeast Kansas. Then these numbers. It was only a matter of time before we started to bring these numbers back into play. Dew points from the mid 60s to lower 70s. Starting to feel that humidity kick in, and that's why it feels like we're near 90 in southwestern Missouri and some mid, even upper 90s, especially out in parts of southeast Kansas. But we are going to trend cooler back into the 70s by 10 o'clock, and I'm thinking we'll drop back to 71, and thankfully we'll stay quiet this evening. Not seeing a lot in our immediate area as we get this Friday evening underway. No big systems at the surface at first glimpse to suggest any rain chances on the way, but this is our next upper low sitting in the northern Rockies. That's going to try and come into play on Sunday, but before it does, our upper low from the other day is continuing to work off toward the east, and that's going to allow that jet stream to lift back to the north, and that's what will make sure that we go back into the lower 90s for tomorrow. So let's break down those numbers on the future track forecast here. Some of the cloud cover out there will break apart during the overnight, so I'm thinking mostly clear skies. It's going to be a mild start, but it's going to be a little reprieve from the warmth and a little bit of heat that we saw return today. 71 in the morning, a light south breeze at 5 to 10, but that breeze picks up during the afternoon at 5 to 15 miles per hour. That'll send us to 87 by noon and send most of us to 92 for afternoon highs. But I think Saturday we can get by on a dry note. But let's talk about Sunday because there's that upper low working just to our north. But as we go into Sunday morning, we'll have to watch for scattered storms, some of them maybe a bit strong, that'll want to try to graze parts of the area, mainly during the morning, and then I think they're out of here by Sunday afternoon. So that's the only rain chance that I see for the rest of the weekend. And then this is our setup pretty much for much of next week. We're on the hot side of the jet, but any heat and humidity could result in an isolated storm or two for much of next week. And as far as temperatures, Dow, let's keep it simple. 92 tomorrow and Sunday, 93 Monday, the mid-90s holding firm for much of next week.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Too hot, but it's simple.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up, more good news on the jobs market front. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Ryan Sanders served in the U.S. Army in 2007 and 2008. The Miami, Oklahoma native was stationed in Afghanistan, and we salute Private First Class Ryan Sanders, a four-state hero. Topping Consumer Watch, the job market continues to improve. For a second straight month, employers added hundreds of thousands of workers. But the rising number of COVID cases is leading to some anxiety about what the future could hold. Michael George reports.
Americans have a growing appetite to eat out, and that has Reset Cafe by Day in California looking for help.
We're trying to hire more baristas, we're trying to hire cooks.
Many industries are hiring, leading to a boom in July, with the economy adding a better than expected 943,000 jobs. The unemployment rate dropped from 5.9 to 5.4%. President Biden says the economy is headed in the right direction.
The unemployment rate is the lowest since the pandemic hit. The bottom line is this: what we're doing is working.
250,000 of the added jobs in July were at bars and restaurants, but establishments still need more workers.
It's hard to find people who want to work right now.
Some employees are staying home because of health concerns or an inability to find affordable childcare. Many businesses also blame government assistance for worker shortages. Those extra $300 federal unemployment payments end next month in states that haven't cut them off already.
We're still about 5.7 million jobs short of where we had been pre-pandemic. Things are definitely moving in the right direction on a lot of fronts.
Bankrate.com chief financial analyst Greg McBride says the latest numbers are encouraging, but rising COVID cases are adding uncertainty.
Where there's uncertainty, businesses are going to be a little bit more reluctant to hire, to invest.
But for now, economists believe hiring will continue in the coming months. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
It appears more people are returning to work at the office. 13.2% of employees worked remotely in July, down from 14.4% in June. Today is the start of the 2021 back-to-school tax-free weekend. Missouri and Oklahoma are taking part and offering the tax exemption on certain purchases, including clothing, school supplies, and computers. Some cities in southwest Missouri, including Joplin and Carthage, are not participating. Also, Kansas is not participating, though some area businesses are. You can find more information which cities and purchases are applicable on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Dollar General is recalling more than 150,000 folding chairs after consumer reports of amputating or lacerating fingers. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, there have been at least 3 reports of the chair's metal folding joints resulting in amputations or lacerations. The chairs were sold at Dollar General stores nationwide between January of 2019 and September of 2019. Consumers can contact the store for a full refund. Apple says it'll now begin to alert law enforcement when its devices are used for illicit child material. The tech company says exploitation images such as child pornography, when used by its devices such as iPhones or loaded to the iCloud, will be reported to law agencies with the help of new detection systems. Apple says the program guards privacy concerns, but some users are skeptical. Final check of the forecast next. CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from Kansas school district officials about their virtual learning policies this school year. Plus, Freeman Health System provides an update on COVID cases at their hospitals. And Joplin Standout talks about his experience at the AAU Junior Olympics in Houston. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. NASA is giving us this low-level view of the red planet. The space agency released this photo of Mars' raised ridges. The Ingenuity helicopter captured the aerial view. Scientists say the environment has fractures similar to what we would see on Earth's deserts. They believe it could be a clue on whether Mars used to have water and was once habitable. The photo follows the Mars rover's longest drive around the planet. NASA's Perseverance drove around for 358 feet, taking photos every 16 feet.
Wow.
does look kind of like an Earth desert. Mars very, very cold, however, and that's not what we're experiencing right here, right now.
No, we would love to cool things back down, but Mother Nature has other plans. We're back into lower 90s tomorrow and Sunday. I want to watch for some thunderstorm chances Sunday morning, but that doesn't shake off the heat and humidity. We'll be right back in the mid-90s by midweek, Dow.
Thanks, Nick. We'll see you at 6. Let's make it a great evening.